In the beginning there was only the sky above and the water below. Oleron, the god of all power and great knowledge, ruled the skies above, and Olokon ruled the endless waters below. The young god Obatala felt that the world beneath him needed more. He thought there should be mountains and valleys, forests and fields, and living creatures. After discussing his thoughts with the god Oleron, Obatala decided that he would take on the great task of creating solid land. Obatala visited the oldest son of Oleron, Oranmilla, who had the gift of prophecy, to find out what he should do in order to complete his task. Oranmilla tells Obatala that he must acquire a chain of gold that would stretch from the sky above to the water below. Then he should gather a snail's shell filled with sand, a white hen, a black cat, and a palm nut, place them into a bag, and take them with him when he climbs down the golden chain. Obatala took the advice from Oranmilla and head straight to the goldsmith to have him create a chain of gold. The goldsmith agrees to create the chain as long as Obatala gathers as much gold as he could for him to make it. Obatala set out and gathers all the gold from every god in the kingdom. He returns with necklaces, bracelets, rings, and gold dust. The goldsmith states that this is not enough gold to create the chain. Obatala tells him to go ahead and create the chain and place a hook on the end of it. After the chain is created, Obatala places the hook on the edge of the sky and lets the chain hang down below. He puts his bag on his arm containing all the objects Oranmilla told him to collect and begins to climb down from the world of light into the world of twilight. He gets halfway down and realizes he cannot jump from the height that he is in, or he would drown. Oranmilla calls out for him to use the sand in the shell. Obatala pours out the sand into the sea below. When he's finished, the voice calls out again to release the white hen. The white hen then kicks and tosses the sand through the sea and makes land. When the land is finished, Obatala jumps down and is satisfied with what he has created. He then digs a hole and plants the palm nut. The palm nut immediately sprouts into a full-grown tree that then releases other palm nuts. They immediately begin to grow into full-grown trees. Obatala then creates a hut for himself and sits down to enjoy his creation with the company of his black cat. Oleron then sends his hefty companion, the chameleon, down to check the status of what Obatala has done. Obatala tells him that he is satisfied with the vegetation that he has created, but he misses the brightness of the sky because it is always twilight there. The chameleon then returns and relays the message, and Oleron, the ruler of the sky, creates the sun. After the creation of the sun, Obatala one day begins to dig in the sand. Although he has the companionship of his black cat, he yearns for other companionship. He finds that the dirt that he has dug clings to his hands, and he will use that to create others. Obatala then sets out and creates many figures. He then begins to become tired and thirsty. Because he is so thirsty, He then creates a juice from the palm nut. He begins to drink this juice and begins to become drunk. When he becomes drunk, he then goes back to creating the figures, but does not realize that his hands are unsteady, and he creates them in an imperfect image. Some of the people have long legs and short arms, long arms and short legs, hunchbacks, and other deformities. Although the figures are imperfect, and Obatala does not notice this, he calls on Oleron to then breathe life into the figures, and he does so. When Obatala's drunkenness wears off, he then sees all of the people that he created that are imperfect. But despite that, he promises himself that he will no longer get drunk by drinking the juice from the palm nut. The people then prosper and create a hut next to his, and they create the village of Ife. Because Obatala had not asked permission to create land in the seas which were controlled by Olakan, she became very angry and caused a mighty storm with many waves and a great flood in the village of Ife. This was done once Obatala had returned home into the sky. He was unaware of what had happened. The people of the village call out for help. With no luck, they do not receive any. They realize that Ishu is living among them and has him to relay a message back that they need assistance. The only way for them to receive this assistance is if they sacrifice a great gift. Once they have sacrificed to Ishu, he returns back and notifies Oranmila of what is going on. Oranmila climbs down the golden chain and uses his special knowledge to cause the power of the waves to cease and the waters to retreat. The people who survive urge Oranmila to stay as their hero, but he has no desire to remain in Ife and returns home. The ruler of the sea is very upset and decides that she wants to challenge the great creator of life. Oranmila is a great weaver of cloth, so she challenges Oleron to a duel of weavery. Because Oleron knows that Olakan is a far better weaver than he is, he devises a plan to send the chameleon down to inform her that he accepts her challenge. When the chameleon goes down, Olakan states that she will accept his offer to duel her in weavery. But first she must show him the cloth that she has created. So she changes into a bright green dress. And when she does, the chameleon turns bright green to match the dress. She then changes into a beautiful bright orange dress. And when she does, the chameleon turns bright orange to match the dress. She then changes into a bright red dress, and the chameleon does the same. She then realizes if a simple creature such as a chameleon may be able to match her greatness of weavery, then a great god would be able to do so herself. She sends a message back with the chameleon that the ruler is the greatest of all. That ends the duel between the goddess Olacron and Oleron.